Hey everybody, my name's Aaron Billings and I'm going to talk today about the book Al Capone Does My Shirts. This is by Jennifer Chaldanko, originally published in 2004 by G.P. Putnam's Sons in New York. This is the second book that Jennifer wrote. Her first was in 2001, named Notes from a Liar and Her Dog, but this is really the one that set her off. This is the first of a series of four that pick up from where this book left off. It's all centering around the Alcatraz Island and really life on Alcatraz. Jennifer Chaldanko is the youngest of four kids. She now has two kids, a teenager and a kid in the early 20s. She is from Santa Monica, California, and now lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. And that kind of ties into the story. We'll get in a little bit more to that as we go along. But this book is 225 pages long, 40 chapters split into 3 different sections, as well as author's notes, which are excellent at the end as well. Definitely a must-read there at the end. This is a historical fiction novel. Really designed for the 6th grade reading level right in there. So the main drive of this book centers around a family that moves to the Alcatraz Island, and it centers around a young man named Moose Flanagan who is in his early teens, his parents, and then his sister Natalie, who we later find out is diagnosed with, they didn't really know at the time, but it would have been a severe autism. And it's really centering around the drive to try to get her into a specialized school in the area. So that's why they moved to Alcatraz Island. Moose's dad gets a job. He's an electrician, and then he's also a guard on the island. There's 60 or so families living on the island, and so he doesn't want to be there. But his family moves there. He likes baseball. Nobody plays baseball on the island. He doesn't want to leave his friends, and he has trouble making new friends on the island, but eventually he meets some of the kids of the other families on the island and starts kind of running around with them. He meets the warden's daughter, who becomes a major player in the book. The warden is a stereotypically authoritative man, and his daughter is much the same way. She really runs the show within the kids, but she's also very mischievous, and we find that the first time that the kids travel from Alcatraz, they take a ferry to their school in San Francisco. They get there and she starts telling these elaborate stories about living on Alcatraz, and they're not really supposed to talk about living on Alcatraz, but she starts really running her mouth and comes up with a scheme to collect the kids' clothes from school and take them back to be laundered by the convicts, specifically Al Capone, who's the most famous of them on the island. And they do so. They collect, in some cases, 5 cents for a shirt and things like that, and take them to get laundered, sneak them in the laundry, and then take them back and collect the money for that. Well, they end up getting in big trouble for that, and from there on out, they're trying to avoid conflict, but they inevitably get into trouble along the way. But the main purpose of living there is to have Moose's sister, Natalie, get her into this specialized school to help her social and mental development. And they move there and send her to the school, and they send her back like after the first day and say she's just not ready. She's screaming, she can't make it through the night. So they kick her out essentially, and this is so hard on especially Moose's mom, who takes it the hardest. But they hire this lady affiliated with the school to work with her individually to get her ready to go back to school. And so Moose's mom has to go to work to do piano lessons, and Moose really has to take care of his sister. So she starts following him around everywhere, and really a lot of the main story of this book revolves around the inmates, the cons that play baseball on the island, and the legend that every once in a while they hit a ball over the fence, and the children try to collect those balls. So Moose takes his sister out looking for a ball and leaves her alone for a while. And when he comes back, he finds that one of the convicts had crawled under the fence somehow and was sitting there talking to her, and she was actually communicating very well, much better than she usually does. So that really kind of becomes a main conflict there. And then eventually they send his sister Natalie back to the school to try again, and they don't accept her. And so Moose tries to kind of take it upon himself to find a way to get his sister in, and he talks to the warden and says, "Warden, can we ask Al Capone to pull some strings?" And the warden says, "Of course not, definitely not, because we don't want to empower him." So Moose really takes it upon himself, writes a note, slips it in with the mail via Piper, whose mom censors all of the mail, slips a note in, And then eventually Natalie gets accepted into the school because the school is deciding to expand and build a new kind of school for older students. And so we don't quite at first know if Al Capone had anything to do with this. But then at the end of the story, we find Moose putting on one of his shirts, finds in the sleeve a note that says, "Done." Underline, underline, and we of course assume that that's from a return letter from Al Capone, that he took care of business and got that done. So that's kind of where the story is left off, where Natalie is accepted into the school there, and kind of we have a resolution that way. So I really think that this book could be integrated into the classroom so easily in social studies, either talking about Alcatraz, Al Capone, anything in the 30s, talks a little bit about the Depression as well. So I think that this would be a great book for the classroom. I loved it. I'm definitely going to pick up on the next books of the series. Like I said, there's 4 in the series now. I'm going to pick up where this one left off and see what other conflicts the kids get into. So definitely recommend checking this book out. Newbery winner, and it's really just really popular among kids. So definitely recommend checking this one out. So thanks a lot.